No one at Fort Raven looked twice at the janitor. He pushed his rattling yellow cart down the corridors before sunrise, scrubbing away footprints of warriors, mopping up the sweat of heroes, erasing the blood of training sessions he could never afford to attend. To every soldier in that brutal elite training compound, Marcus Hale was invisible. Just another broken man with a bent back and tired eyes. A single dad cleaning floors he didn't own, fighting battles no one knew about. But one careless joke from 10 of the base's deadliest female commandos would change everything. "Let the janitor spar us, for fun." One of them laughed. The others laughed harder. Not knowing that beneath Marcus's faded uniform shirt wasn't just an aging body, but a past even the generals had buried. And when the bell rang and Marcus stepped onto the mat, every camera on base, every trainer, every mocking commando would witness something so shocking. The base would never be the same again, and neither would the life of his little daughter waiting at home. And that moment was only the beginning. Marcus Hale used to be someone. 20 years ago, he wore a uniform of a different kind, a classified symbol stitched onto his chest, known only to a few men in shadowed rooms. Back then, his hands didn't hold mops and rags. They held weapons the government later pretended never existed. But time is a cruel eraser. War faded into memory. A bad back replaced his strength. A pink hospital bracelet replaced his medals when his wife died giving birth to their daughter, Lily. From that day forward, Marcus wasn't a soldier anymore. He was just a father. And when the bills came and the world didn't care about his past heroics, he did what any father does. He swallowed his pride and applied for the one job still open on the base he once protected, janitor. He cleaned in silence. Listened as the new generation of commandos trained. He overheard their laughter, their stories, their boasts, their fears. He admired them, truly. 10 women, chosen out of thousands, shaped into living weapons. Captain Rios, the strongest of them, could snap a man's arm without blinking. Lieutenant Vega ran 8 miles every morning like it was nothing. The others followed with discipline and pride. Marcus respected them all, and in some strange way, they reminded him of who he used to be, and who he had lost. But the commandos didn't see him as a quiet man with a broken past. To them, he was background noise. It started as a challenge born out of boredom. "I swear these drills are getting too easy," one of them complained after finishing a brutal sparring round. "We need a real challenge. Or at least some comedy. Let the janitor fight." Another one smirked, nodding toward Marcus as he wiped sweat from the mat. "I bet he's got a secret kung fu move hiding in that mop." Laughter erupted across the gym. Marcus kept wiping. He didn't lift his eyes. He had learned long ago that dignity didn't come from proving anything to people who didn't know your story. But then the base commander walked in. He had a twisted sense of humor and an eye for spectacle. "Janitor," he called out. "How about it? 1 round. For fun. No one gets hurt. Just a bit of entertainment." The room went quiet. Marcus should have said no. He thought of Lily at home, her math homework on the kitchen table, her soft voice asking if he used to be a hero like in the movies. He thought of the way people looked through him like fog. He thought of his lost youth, his buried name. Then he thought of something else. "How many?" Marcus asked quietly. "All 10, the commander replied with a grin. A ripple of excitement ran through the room. Marcus slowly set the mop down. He straightened up. And for a split second, the way he moved, controlled, balanced, precise, made one of the trainers narrow his eyes in confusion. Marcus stepped onto the mat and removed his worn-out shoes. "Just to be clear," he said, his voice steady and calm, "this isn't for fun to me." They didn't understand what he meant. Not yet. The bell rang. The first commando rushed him like a storm, expecting an easy takedown. She was fast. Brutally trained. A national champion in combat sports. The crowd held their breath, some already smiling, waiting for the spectacle of the janitor being flattened. Marcus didn't attack. He simply shifted. A gentle step to the side, a turn of the wrist, the smallest pressure applied at exactly the right angle. And suddenly the commando found herself on the mat, staring at the ceiling, confused, breath knocked from her lungs. Silence. Another attacked. Faster. Angrier. Another went down. Each movement Marcus made was economical, controlled, almost graceful. It wasn't strength. It was experience. Years of battle compressed into instinct. He knew momentum. He knew balance. He knew anticipation. He had lived where hesitation meant death. The laughter vanished from the room. Phones came out. Someone whispered, "Who is he?" The women stopped seeing him as a joke. They circled him now as soldiers, not as bullies. Respect slowly replaced mockery. One by one, they came at him, and every single one was disarmed, redirected, or neutralized without him throwing a single punch. He wasn't humiliating them. He was teaching them. Showing them their blind spots. Their overconfidence. Their predictable patterns. Captain Rio stepped in last. She didn't laugh. She bowed her head lightly before stepping forward. And for the first time, Marcus bowed back. Their match was different. Equal. Respectful. A dance between two warriors shaped by pain and discipline. It lasted longer than all the others combined. And when it ended, both of them stood breathing hard, eyes locked, no animation in the room, no jokes, no whispers. Just respect. The commander slowly clapped. Soon the entire room followed. Not for the janitor, but for the man they had never bothered to see. Later that night, Marcus sat at his small kitchen table, Lily curled beside him with her head on his arm. "Daddy," she whispered, "were you really a hero?" Marcus smiled gently. "No, baby. I just remembered who I was for a moment." The next morning, the commander handed him a folder. Inside was a job offer. Training consultant. Triple the salary. Full benefits. Respect. But Marcus looked up and said something no one expected. "I'll accept. On one condition." "What's that?" the commander asked. "You teach them that strength isn't about humiliating the weak, but protecting them. Because you never know which quiet man is still fighting a war inside." From that day on, Marcus wasn't invisible. Not because of fame. Not because of power. But because he proved that your past doesn't disappear. Your pain doesn't define you. And even the most forgotten person in the room might be the strongest soul standing there. And somewhere, in a simple apartment with a little girl who believed in him, the greatest victory of all was already his.